welcome to Star Stop. You're with me, Salil. It's a large cast today. And I'm a very worried looking gentleman. Whenever I see Anubhav sir, I always say, Sir, आप इतने worry क्यों करते हो? But sometimes he gets very relaxed. Because today he's karta, dharta, landlord, tenant, everything in this film. And that's why, Anubhav sir, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us here.
You have two lovely boys on your left and one of the most beautiful women on the right. And I have to say this every time Neha Sharma comes into any area that I'm involved in, whether it's radio, whether it's TV, anywhere, everyone will come and say, the one girl that I truly like. They really don't care about too much over there, but they every time see you, and that has not changed for many, many years.
So nice to be here.
So congratulations on still remaining so beautiful after all these years and still being a little heartthrob for all the people. And the boys, yes, very good looking boys, and it will work. You all fit the bill, buddy. Tall, with the body just perfect. Not like a wrestler. Dark hai na, dadi dark hai na.
हाँ वो makeup हो जाता है.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Ashiv and Aditya, you're the finds of Anubhav sir, but I have to say this, you've really taken on a lot on yourself in this film, है ना? सब कुछ, writing से लेकर everything. It was a dream to do it. So your original cast is very good friends with me. So Priyanshu and Rakesh, very good friends. So we were all young when it came out and they were very, very good. Now they've all moved into television and I just met them recently and they said, दूसरी बन गई हमारे. So it's been a long time and some of us have been here long enough to actually see it. It doesn't feel like it's been so many years.
15,
yeah. It doesn't, but it does also at times.
For you?
Because, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did so many things after that. And, a film survived, lived for 15 years, which is something which is very, very intriguing for me. And, I meet people who are 22, 21, and they say, Sir, I love Tumbin. And I'm like, you were 5 when the film released.
You were in like play school.
Yeah. So how can you love the film? Yeah. And then I got to know that when they were growing up, they heard the songs, and songs took them back to the film, and they loved
so
the film.
apart from just the songs, so there were the Karan Johar films and the Yashraj films that looked like this. Yours was one of the few that looked like, in those days, to look as grand as it did was very, very rare and very difficult. So you were also credited with that, the locations and the gloss and all that, and not with a very big star cast at all at that point in time.
Yeah.
So you were able to pull that off then. So technically also you were always very well known and, also for that grandeur, you've kept that flavor in this film as well. So was that also a very big thought that it has to look great?
Yeah, I mean, when we decided to do Tumbin 2, the first thought was, what are the elements that should be carried forward?
Yeah.
It was not a sequel, as in, you're not extending the story forward. And so how does it become a franchise? And what are the franchisable elements from Tumbin 1 that should move into Tumbin 2? And the first one I wanted relatively lesser known actors so that it gets that fresh look that they had liked in the first one.
And it is looking like that, yeah.
And then the locations, I was absolutely certain that we had to have snow in the film. So the other day someone was asking me, Sir, आप ये विदेश में क्यों बनाते हो love stories? तो मैंने कहा नहीं, सांता क्रूज में बर्फ गिरवा दो वहाँ बनाएंगे.
Actually, I'll tell you something. This is Mumbaikars. So I'm a Delhi boy, but 15 years here now. So let me just say I'm more Mumbaikar than Delhi boy. The only thing I miss about Delhi is the jackets. I can't wear a jacket in Bombay.
Yeah.
I can't wear cold clothes, and you just look a lot better. You don't need to you know what I mean? So if you wear chaddi banyan, you look different. And if you wear stuff like that with very high air conditioning, you look a lot better. It's very simple. That's why let's come to the snow part of it. So this is a really big film for both of you all. And I know that Anubhav sir had a number of posts about still looking for the boys. So we'd known that she was coming in there and half the male audience was anyway super excited. But then there is another large audience that wanted to see who the boys would be. And you're not reprising roles.
Yeah.
But you're getting a good enough zone where it already comes in with a name.
True.
So this is great fun for you. Was it nerve-wracking, but the auditioning process and the meeting process?
Oh, it was actually, because I got to know we auditioning for Tumbin, which is always, it's been there.
Yeah.
And it's become a cult in its own way. And then to crack it, there's a lot of pressure. Because
So what do you think helped you crack it?
I have actually no clue. Actually, I know. I think we auditioned for it, so I was supposed to do a performance on a Shah Rukh Khan song. So I did it on Om Shanti Om, and that melted Sir, I think.
Oh!
So that got me the
Performance-wise, you had
part.
to dance.
Yeah, dance, enact, romance a girl in that. So that kind of melted him maybe.
I truly believe if you can't carry a song, you can't be a hero in Bollywood.
Yeah.
So after they crossed all the acting auditions, I told Mukesh that now let them enact a song. So they said, which song? I said, Shah Rukh Khan's song. That's the best benchmark you can have. And they did a fairly good job.
And did you have a lot of people looking at you at that point in time?
While we auditioned?
Yeah.
No, we just had people who were auditioning
Yeah.
with us, that's all. Good shit, otherwise I would have been very nervous.
Were you also very good with the song, Ashim, or no?
I was not initially. He got the better of me later, but it was initially I was very nervous.
One long phone call that night.
Yeah. It took me a lot more than a phone call. So there was a lot of grilling that happened. But yes, I think I kind of fared well eventually.
Yeah.
But thanks to Anubhav.
But as boys, like for me, when I remember making my debut, I wanted guns and I wanted dark and I wanted action and all that kind. So that's what y'all also wanted, right?
Yeah, I actually wanted. I'm a lot into action, but I read the story.
Have you seen your face? You look like a sweet little boy.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody expects that.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
true.
Yeah, it's really unexpected and he does action.
Yeah, you can still do. But you look like this quintessential good boy, right? So his sir is here 15 years later, actually 16 now, that because by the time we're coming closer to 2017, reprising his role as a director in this as well, as a storyteller, as a writer, producer, tension taker. Yeah. It's really tough to be a director. And I have the highest respect for Anubhav because he tries really different kind of cinema as a producer as well. And it's not every time do you think that you're going to make money on it. I remember you'd made that shark film of yours.
Warning.
Yes. Very difficult. Again, big risk again. So you've always done. Even Ra 1, when you were involved with it, was a very, very big risk. Way ahead of its time as far as VFX and all were concerned. So at least I'm happy that you try to stay interested in direction. It's not just about going there and just doing cut, copy, paste because we can all do that now.
Yeah. Then was the fun. Then I could have been working for a bank or continue to be an engineer.
No, as a bank, so you wouldn't have probably made this kind of money. But yeah, but let's just put it this way. Neha Sharma is the Betty / Veronica forever. You know the Archie comics. Isn't that true? Has anyone ever called you that?
Yes, I've heard that.
So which one would you have preferred to be? Veronica or Betty? Has to be a mix, right?
Yeah, it has to be a mix.
Don't mean Betty, man. Betty's like a sweat on her
want to be.
face.
I don't want to be, but a lot of people say that.
Because you're the nice girl always.
Maybe, yeah.
Is she always a nice girl, boys? No.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
No, we would never.
Yeah. So they're 6 months into it. You're 6 years into it. But every time I met you, you don't behave like you don't carry that baggage of half a decade. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a great thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's too much baggage anyway in our lives, so I think it's better to be off that baggage. And I don't know, somehow every film that I do, I feel like it's my first. I don't know how everybody else has that confidence that, okay, I've done so much work and I'll kill it and all that. But I'm very nervous with
Are you
every
like this
film.
in your meetings as well? It must not help the negotiation powers.
That's true.
You see, I'm a manager, and I'll tell you, this is wrong. Was she taken advantage of at the negotiation?
Of course.
Yeah, brilliant. We're giving you a really big franchise, so that's it, yeah? And anything, that's it. So we move ahead with the negotiation. Let's put that
I suck
aside.
at it, yeah.
That's fine, don't worry, we'll give you some little pointers.
Yeah.
But when you come into a franchise also, and I think this was very important also because you're carrying a film.
Yeah.
As far as the face is concerned, as far as the name is concerned, and you will have to carry the film. Was that a little bit more daunting?
Not really. I didn't think about it until I started promoting. And when we started promoting, we know that the release is around the corner. And how do we push it? Because we don't have like really big names to garner that kind of attention. But of course, I think, being a franchise, there's so much goodwill of the first one that people are excited about the second one. There are a lot of other reasons. There are fantastic singers who've done some amazing work in this film. And Ankit's first album, he's done the whole album.
He's very
There are
excited.
a
He
lot
hates being called a singer. I'm a composer. Don't call me singer. Yeah. But
A lot of things like that make the film very exciting for people to watch. I don't want to take any pressure because I don't want to feel that.
Yeah, you need to sit up a little bit. You
Yeah.
look like, you've got like an atlas. But let's just talk about the fun stuff, the clothes. Was there an amazing array of like the fashion items available for you all for Tum Mintu? Anubhav sir, did you decide that part has to really be worked on?
Yeah, because see that's one part of making movies that I'm absolutely clueless about. So I don't understand clothes.
Yeah. But you understand the colors that should look good.
No, not colors. Once I see it, then I can say it's good or bad.
Okay.
So I wish I had Karan's talent of clothes. He's good with it.
Yeah.
So I find
And he also
people-
uses a huge budget for that.
Yeah.
Huge budget. Like
So
lots of films can come
I
in there.
tend to find people who can do it well,
Yeah.
and then I leave it to them. So in this
And so
case,
do you trust easily?
yeah, I trust easily. Yeah, trust people easily. So in this case, there's Niharika and Sagarika who are making a debut with this film. But with the presentation they made, then after that I left it to them, and I'm being told that they've done a good job.
Yeah. Even at this interview, look at the clothes. Very nice, I have to say.
I'm the only one who's not been dressed by them. So excuse them for this.
Yeah, I was going to become, sir, इतने पैसे में इतना ही होएगा.
But that's filmmaking. The more expensive the films, the lesser they're going to recover. You've been a part of few expensive ones. You would understand that it's not about how good it's looking. It's about how your return on investment. That's the most important part. People forget. You spend that much money and you might not be able to recover that kind of money. As a filmmaker, have you always tried to figure that part out? You know, the economics of filmmaking.
This has a longish answer. You are ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we talk too much about ROI and how much other people's films, how much did they cost, how much did they recover. You know, every producer has an agenda when he makes a film. So maybe a producer doesn't have the agenda of a very high ROI. He has an agenda of making an epic film. Yeah. So I don't think that's your business or mine to talk business about other people's films. That's their business. As a director, so that's my answer to all the talks, business talks that happen
about
today
money.
About money. So we're making other people's films. We're not making our own films a lot of times, which I think is a very crappy idea. As a director, I look at it a little differently. I try and make sure that the film that I'm making will recover its costs. So, and I have so far successfully done that. Having made Ravan, which was huge, and we spent way more than I would have liked, but it was big. So yes, I do look at money as a director, and I like to make sure that my producer gets his money back.
Yeah, everyone stays happy. Now, you all come onto the set of the first day. Was it a happy day or was it a nervous day? First day.
It was a fantastic day. It was
Yeah?
the
Did
sun
you all
was-
do nothing? Oh, no. You all did something.
Murat shot was actually just like any other day. It was a
Really?
cakewalk. Yeah. We were very well prepared from
Yeah, I know the
day
workshops,
one.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had those.
But who was the more nervous of the two? Let me ask Neha.
I was
Yeah?
definitely.
But why? Neha, let me ask you, who was the more nervous of the two?
Oh God. See, Ashim is the kind of person who's in the room. He cracks a lot of jokes. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's nervous inside. It doesn't really come out. Aditya's the shy guy. He doesn't talk much. So maybe his nervousness kind of shows. But I think both of them were nervous. Weren't they, sir? Day one.
Actually, she was most nervous.
Yeah,
Really?
True. But that's always there.
Why?
I don't know. She
Same part of the workshops also. Did you have time
You know,
to
can I tell you, there were a lot of things that were happening for the first time, and it's quite intimidating. I don't know how they dealt with it because I kept feeling that I don't know, are they newcomers? This is my first film.
Also because she plays the most difficult part in the film. That's one. And two is that she's used to working in a manner.
Yeah.
So she's done a few films, and I work a little differently from that. And I had told her from
Give
the
me an
very
example of
beginning.
that.
For one, we saw you, like the day one, I'm telling you. So we were doing a scene, and
Yeah.
Sir was right there because he wants to see the actor's eye. Into
that's
the
right.
eye
Sit
and
at the
see-
monitor.
Yeah, he wants to see the expressions happen and everything, and it's just very intimidating. Because I'm like, you're looking at what I'm doing, and I'm just not going to do it the way I would do it. So, I did a couple of takes. Obviously, all those takes were approved.
Yeah.
And then I said, Sir, I know that this is something you need to do, but this
Oh, so
is...
you when you're filming the scene also you'll stand in front?
Oh yeah.
camera.
Wow.
It's right there.
Wow.
So it's just knowing that he's there made me nervous.
That's really scary, sir. I don't know too many people do that.
Then I retired.
Then I told him that I won't be able to do this. So then he was like, okay, for you I'll do this, but I don't do this usually.
So that's one. Two is I always, including myself, I always say this is our first film. So every time I make a film, it's my first film.
Right.
And so, there's a whole tradition of personalized makeup and hair and all those people. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, which is good actually. I think.
It finally turned out that it was good, but since she was used to it, she found herself in a slightly alien
So you mean all
atmosphere.
the paraphernalia attached with
She's quite a diva in life, actually.
Which is nice.
The Louis Vuittons and the caretaker.
It's good. You know, we like it like that. Do stay like that. Do stay like that. We'll give you Tummin 3 very soon. We're about a few days away. So by the time this will be shown, it'll be a few days away.
Right.
They'll be a lot more nervous by then. There'll be a lot more discussions by then. Lots of people would have given you lots of advice. Since you're the new boys, Ashim and Aditya, biggest or most important advice that you feel you received from your peers or family?
I actually received one from Shah Rukh sir. So
I mean, so just Shah Rukh, just throw a name out, yeah? Shah Rukh. That's Shah Rukh Khan, I love it, man.
I said Shah Rukh
That's
sir.
the best part,
That
huh?
guy from Dilwale.
Oh, yeah, that's the same fellow. I love it.
So it was Anubhav sir's birthday,
Yeah.
and I met him over there, and I said, "Sir, could I click a picture with you?" So he put his arm around me, and his exact words were, "खूबसूरत तो गुलाब भी होते हैं, पर वो हीरो नहीं होते." So he said, "Just don't be a good-looking guy. Just have something more to do with it."
Which is true.
Which is true. Which is
yeah.
absolutely true.
But it's okay.
Coming
The
from
one
him.
part he has given you that you're a good-looking boy. तो वो बात एक पहला तो big mark आ गया. You should have actually recorded that. What about you?
It was
He
my
was in Delhi that day, so
yeah. I
So you
wasn't there
didn't
at the
meet Shah Rukh
party.
Khan?
No,
And you didn't think it was important enough to come from Delhi to Bombay?
It was,
Yeah.
but
You missed the flight.
he was
nice.
he was on the treadmill running. He thought he'll reach here, but he didn't.
I couldn't make it.
Dude, don't worry. Your opening will be with Shah Rukh Khan. And that's when he sees the acting. And that's when you can go chat with him after that.
Yes, I would love to.
But otherwise, advice that you got
My,
and
it
you
was my-
treasure.
from my father. He has always said this, and before I even went to Scotland for the shoot, he only says one thing: just be yourself, be grounded, and just everything else will follow.
Has life changed after the promo?
Yeah, I mean, of
Yeah.
course, it's overwhelming to receive such a good response from the whole the trailer.
No, forget the trade. I'm talking about the chicks and I'm talking about the friends, man. I'm talking about the friends and all
friends will
going.
all- friends
Suddenly, everyone's your friend, huh?
Yeah, most like I've got that a lot. I've got that a lot. Lot of people who I haven't spoken to for years, and they're like, "Hi, how's it going, man? Like, I saw your trailer, really nice."
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it's
thanks,
not
man.
just Diwali and Dussehra messages that are coming in, yeah?
नहीं यार तो मिलते हैं ना फिर कभी कभी हाँ मैं आता हूँ तेरे घर
I think that's a difficult part. I think as a director also who's launching two faces, that could probably hit high stratosphere very quickly. Are you also like a psychologist on set? When you have new faces there, you're trying to also balance that part of theirs?
it's a part of my job.
Yeah.
To be kind of a psychologist, because I have to constantly see what they're going through. They have to do an aggressive scene, and right now maybe I've shouted at him for something and he's intimidated, but I need him to be aggressive, so I have to put arm around his shoulder and
Good cop, bad
get
cop all the
friends.
time.
So that keeps going on all the time, especially with newer people. Yeah, and also there's a part of me actually. I like to read people and situations and time.
Did you find this tougher than you thought it would be?
No. In fact, it was way easier. I keep saying this, and they get embarrassed and they get purple on their faces.
Yeah, good. So let's hear some
That
good stuff.
I could not have made this film with any other set of 3 actors
Super.
as well. So when we were telling you that we're not dubbing for the film, we're not dubbing for the film.
Which is great, actually. As actors, did you find that also a little throw off because this is the
not
sync
very
sound?
encouraging. That's what you mean.
No. When you're doing sync sound,
I love sing sound
Yeah?
because I think it helps the performance because when you're feeling the scene, you emote and you don't want to do it in a studio because nothing's the same.
yeah, that's true.
So I like that.
So the fact that we have not dubbed a single line in the film actually endorses what I'm saying, that they've done a fantastic job in the film, and it's tradition for a director to say these things about his
The
actors. I would leave it for the audience to come back to me and say this to me.
Before we go, now the one thing that really scared you about Anubhav sir and the one thing that you really liked, in that order, please.
The scariest part was that if he would get angry, he would not be angry. It wouldn't be like he wouldn't come and shout at us or hit us, but he would just be completely quiet. He would just shut up and just
Silent.
go in the corner. And
Did
the
that happen a
silence
lot?
kills. Not a lot, but when it happened, it was a great blow because silence really killed us there. It was what do we say to him? How do we approach him now? Because
So one sec, so stop right there. So in the three of you, who was the one who was trying to sort of build the bridges then? once that anger bit happened.
That was me, my.
Acha, you yourself. Okay, so one thing that you love about it?
So I would go and,
Yeah.
once this 3 days of silence.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Longer than three.
And he
It's
wouldn't
been
eat.
longer
And he
than
wouldn't eat,
three.
have the breakfast, and that would make us more,
Guilty.
3
Yeah,
days of
guilty.
silence, and then I realized one fine morning that's a very emotional scene. And, I'm not talking to any of them for 3 days.
Yeah.
Only when I'm directing, I'm telling them the scene, I'll go and I'll talk to them. And because otherwise I don't feel like talking. I hate them. Yeah, for whatever has happened. So then I realized, shit, this is a very important scene and they're not in the best state of mind. And then suddenly I would go to her makeup room and I'll say, come on. So she'll come out, then I'll give her a hug. And I'll still not say anything. Give her a hug and I'll go. So that would probably ease it out a bit.
Sir, it's going to be very tough to work with you. You literally sound scary.
No, it's really not. So I'll come back to the
Yeah,
nicer
okay, so the
part.
good part. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great because he made it so easy for us. I'm talking because it's my first film, and it couldn't have gotten better for me. It was just he was like a friend, and he treated us all in that manner, and it was just like everything was just okay, cut, like one shot. It was just beautiful. It was a cakewalk for at least for me.
Some days I was nice to them.
Yeah.
Your biggest fear and your biggest happiness at being cast in this film?
My biggest fear,
Fear now, once it's about to release.
which has been the fear since I was casted, is to live up to the expectations of the audience because they have loved the first part, and that's been the biggest fear. And it's on till now because we receive comments like, "Oh, are you going to be able to perform as good as they did?" and stuff like that. And what was the other bit?
And your biggest happiness?
That I am a part of this film, and I actually realized one thing that which he realized like long time back. That song "Teri Faryad," I was listening to it like a couple of days ago, and I've heard it like 100 times. I heard it again 2 days back, and I got like goose pimples. I said, "Oh my God, I'm a part of Teri Faryad, a Koi Faryad," which is been there, living for like 15 years, and will live on forever. So that is something I take with me.
Wow. But it is, you've got to enjoy the process. I guess in your 7th film or 20th film, you can probably get used to the fact that it's a film. But when it's your first film, everything is a wow. Make sure that you go to Gary Galaxy at 9 o'clock in the morning and make sure that you let them see you. Don't wear a burqa, don't wear chashma. Haan, main hi hoon. Do this, trust me, it's a never before experience. But and now, before we leave, did I ask you anything? Now, there's so much more that has happened with you, so much that there is anything that you want the audience to change with perceptions of Neha Sharma?
No, I think they've been very kind. They've given me love for over 6 years, and they've still, every time I'm interacting with them one-on-one, there's so much love, there's so much warmth. They're excited about everything that I do. And this time around, I think thanks to him, there's a character called Taran that's in this film, which is just so lovable. I think this character will stay with everyone for a while, and I think they should like what I've done in that film.
And you should negotiate a little better after this film. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you so
Cheers. Oh, thanks.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having
See
me.
you soon. And like I said, this is always a new journey. And every time you see the new journey, be nice. Because you're not out there, don't be jealous. A lot of people get very jealous. Arey, main isse better kar sakta hu. This is not cricket and this is not your backyard. This is a big sort of stage. And I always say this, a lot of effort goes into making a film. Don't spend just those 2 hours to diss out a film. Spend a couple of hours more. When you think back on it, maybe you'll understand it a lot more. Till next time, bye-bye. Take care and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.